What's up, legends? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking Modern Warfare Zombies, and we're going to be going over the best method to earn your weapon XP, the fastest way, a way you can unlock Mercury Camo, maybe even do your one-trick Molten Obsidian, and even in Season 6, be able to get that new Season 6 camo once it comes out quite a bit faster. Now, this is the best possible method that I've come across so far, and I've done a lot of testing as far as staying into matches longer, doing more contracts, killing more zombies, a ton of different things and different variables to see what actually makes the most sense. And honestly, the way that the XP works in this game, or the weapon XP specifically works in this game, is kind of insane. So currently, right now, we do have a double XP event going on, so you will not be able to pop your double XP tokens. And unfortunately, that is actually a negative because you earn less XP during the double XP events than you do when you actually pop your double XP tokens. I know that doesn't make a ton of sense. Basically, if you are to go in without any token whatsoever and you just go through the match, you can earn approximately 17,000 XP before you then kind of cap out, right? When you pop your double XP token, you can go in, and this is if you're staying for the entirety of the 45 minutes. You can then go in, pop your double weapon XP, earn somewhere around 34,000. But for some reason, during the double XP event, you get capped out somewhere around the 20,000 mark. Now, this doesn't mean that you are absolutely capped at that specific number. In this case, let's talk about 20,000 for the weekend. You're not stuck at 20K. That doesn't mean that you're not going to earn any more XP beyond that, but what it does mean is that once you hit that 20,000 point, you will actually earn that XP significantly slower. So let's say, for example, you earn 20,000 XP in the first 25 minutes of the match, because consistently across around 7 to 8 matches, not only for myself, but for JGOD, my buddy as well, we were able to get consistently the same exact amount of XP by staying in the match around 25 minutes, which ended up being around 22,000. So essentially what I'm saying is, without double XP, you're going to be capped out at around 17K, even if you stay for the entirety of the 45 minutes. During double XP, you can actually earn around 22,000 if you only stay for around 25 minutes using the method we're going to be showing you today. And if you were to follow this exact same method with your double XP tokens activated, you would get around 34,000 would be my estimated guess, and maybe even up to 40,000 in some cases, just depending on the match that you're staying in. Now, it all depends, again, how long you choose to stay in the match, but the longer you do stay in the match, the more likely you're going to have diminishing returns past that 20,000 XP mark. Now, no matter if you're choosing double XP token, there isn't double XP available, or it is a double XP event, the XP caps still exist, and you're still going to want to use the exact same method to actually maximize on your XP gains. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the actual method itself. Now, for me personally, I'm going to go into the high threat zone. You can also do this in tier 2. It's going to be way less efficient in tier 1, but maybe if you're not an everyday zombies player, you may not have access to your perks or any of the upgrades that you might need to start in the tier 2 zone, or maybe even the high threat zone. But essentially what I like to do is, once I get into the match, I head over to one of the triangles in the high threat zone. After popping the perks that I need, my pack 3 crystal and my legendary tool, I'm able to then get over to one of the triangles, especially now that they did the nerf, able to get access to another pack 3 crystal and legendary tool. I'm then able to hold on to those for the next match, and then throughout that match, I'm earning the essence back that I would need to hopefully exfil enough to then get all the cooldowns on my perks. So that way, in my next match, I'll be able to fully gear up with my pack 3 crystal, my legendary tool, and all of the perks, or maybe even the ammo mod that I decided to come in with for that match. So each match, I'm able to basically reset my loadout, and it allows me to kind of do this exact same method over and over and over, repeating the process, allowing me to earn that XP significantly faster. So depending on your situation might determine what zone you choose to be in. Again, you can absolutely find the exact same or similar success in tier 2 as you do in tier 3. Now, I know this for sure because I was doing all of mine in tier 3, and JGOD was having the exact same results over in tier 2. Now, after I complete my triangle and I've gotten my stuff for the next match, I just go over and start completing contracts. Now, it doesn't really matter how many contracts you actually complete. In one of my matches, I did 3 contracts, and another one I did 4. I think even in one of them, I managed to do 5. And no matter what, I either had less zombies and more contracts, or more zombies and less contracts, and they always balanced each other out. Meaning, no matter what, as long as I left after that 25 minutes, I was getting pretty much the exact same XP each and every time, with little to no variable at all, which is how we kind of got to the conclusion that the 20,000 XP mark, at least for double XP, again, it's different for each scenario, no XP, double XP, and double XP token, we were then able to kind of determine that that was the sweet spot on when we needed to exfil, because this is per instance, right? It only resets when you get into a new match, or in another part, which we're going to cover later in the video, that you're going to be able to earn more XP because it will reset your instance. Essentially, what you're going to do is spend the entirety of the 20-25 minutes of the first part of the match doing as many contracts as you can, destroying as many zombies as you can. Again, you can do this in tier 2. The one thing I do enjoy about tier 3 is it's a bit more challenging. It's always a lot more engaging. And obviously, if I'm the only one in there, I have access to all the contracts. But if you have one of those tier 3 zones, it's super filled up with players. You might not want to choose the high threat zone because you'll be able to get access to more contracts in tier 2, being able to knock them out quicker. Essentially, once you guys have gotten to that 20 or 25 minutes, you have two options. You can either exfil there, allowing yourself to reset. You should have enough essence at this point. You will get all the cooldowns on your perks and your ammo mod, and you might have even been able to get access to some crystals, especially if you went into the high threat zone. Kind of depends on how you're able to set yourself up. Of course, you can always go in with a pack 1 crystal, a pack 2 crystal, any of the rarity tools, and it will work exactly the same. And then obviously once you exfil, you just go and repeat this exact same process, earning you roughly, again, during this double XP weekend, about 22,000 on average per match in around 20 to 25 minutes. Now, let's say you don't want to exfil there and you want to actually continue your match further and earn more weapon XP without having to restart your instance. Maybe you're one of those players that doesn't necessarily have access to all the perks, or maybe you don't have access to the Pack-a-Punch crystals or the tools. You might actually want to be one of those players that doesn't extend your instance. What you're going to need to do, and this does require you to have X amount of the story missions complete, because you will need the story mission that pops up as an exfil known as Extraction. This is basically where you need to save Dr. Jansen or help exfil Dr. Jansen during that story mission. Once you actually spawn into this, it does start a brand new instance, allowing you to re-earn weapon XP once again. So now that you had your 22,000 XP from your 20-25 minutes over on Urzikstan, you're now headed into this story mission, going to be doing the exact same thing, only this is a lot easier than it was over there. This is pretty much going to be an AFK method once you actually make your way over to the location where Dr. Jansen is. Once the story mission pops in, you're going to have to jump out of the helicopter. One thing to keep in mind is during this story mission, you are actually going to be on the lookout for deadbolt turret chips. Now, the first one's going to be directly when you jump out of the helicopter to start the story mission. It will be on one of the ACs directly ahead before you jump off the roof. So make sure you grab that. Essentially, each one of these will give you 2 minutes worth of the deadbolt turret time, and you can stack up to 4 of them in a single turret, and it will hold up to 8 minutes worth of turret activation, essentially. So what you're hoping to do is get access to at least 8 of these. I know there is at least 7 of which you can get easy access to in this story mission. If you guys know where more locations in the story mission is, let me know down in the comment section below. That way you can share with everybody else where these locations are. I can show you or tell you at least a few of them here in this video, but I'm not going to be able to cover them all. Essentially, once you make your way over to the end point where you actually meet up with Dr. Jansen, you'll have to defend that area for a specific amount of time before she's released from the room. Now, directly across from the room, there's going to be a little caged area with some barrels. There's going to be a deadbolt turret that you can grab there, or a deadbolt turret circuit, I should say. Then in the office where Dr. Jansen was at, there's actually going to be another deadbolt turret circuit in there that you can grab. And then there's also going to be one in the little shed out to the left, essentially in the direction that Dr. Jansen heads when she actually leaves the room. And you actually start making your way towards the rooftop. You'll be able to go into that. There is going to be another location there. The rest of these are going to be on the next level. So once you followed Dr. Jansen up the stairs and you've made your way up to the rooftop or headed toward the rooftop, in that first room there will be one on the desk to the left. You'll break the glass. You will then go underneath the helipad on the wooden box there. You will find another circuit that you can grab there. Then you're going to continue following Dr. Jansen up onto the roof, where she will eventually get into the exfil chopper. Now, before she even gets into the exfil chopper, you can throw in your deadbolt turret circuits. Again, you can place up to 4 in there at one time, and it will go for an 8-minute time period. Or you can place them in at one at a time if you prefer to do that, depending on how many you have access to. Now, if you have a limitation on your inventory, you can go ahead and place 4 of them in, run around, grabbing the other circuits that are available in that area, being able to place them in whenever the cooldown period takes place. Now, there is one more circuit available right behind the deadbolt turret across the bridge on the little concrete structure there. You guys won't be able to miss that one. Be able to grab that, and that's basically a good amount of them essentially to set you up for this mission. Again, ideally, if you can get access to 8, that would be great, but you don't want to waste too much time on the other map looking for them to actually bring them in order to extend the time. Essentially, what you want to do is get access to at least 6, 7, 8 of these circuits, place them in the deadbolt turret. You can essentially stand AFK on the helipad for the entirety of the time. Once all of your circuits burn out, You just jump into the back of the helicopter, exfil, and you've earned yourself another 22,000, give or take, in weapon XP. Now, the main reason you might want to head into the story mission, even though you could just go back to back in Urzikstan continuously, is maybe you don't have access to all the things that you need, giving yourself more time to actually earn that XP for the stuff that you're actually using. If you have access to all the items and you're getting the cooldowns that you need, you might find it more fun or less boring if you're not into doing an AFK farm like this story mission, to just continuously go into Urzikstan, leaving every 20 or 25 minutes after completing the contracts. But by far, this is the best method, just going in, completing contracts for 20 to 25 minutes, heading into the story mission, doing this exact same thing for 20-ish, 25 minutes, completing it through the entirety of the 7 or 8 turret circuits that you have. Then you'll exfil from here, earning yourself over 40,000 each and every time you do this. It'll probably only take you around 50 minutes to complete both the first part and the story mission. Every 50 minutes, you'll essentially be able to get yourself roughly 40 to 45,000. Obviously, being able to maximize the amount of XP you can earn in the least amount of time. That's going to wrap things up for us here. Hopefully, this will help you guys on your journey to unlocking Mercury Camo, Season 6 Camo, or whichever of the weapon prestige camos that you're after. Thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support in the channel, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace.